Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Let's get this last one running real quick like. There we go. Perfection. Perfection. One little sneak. There. Gorgeous. Okay. Now, guys, you guys already know how to put on the liquid white, but if you don't, I have videos to show you how to do that. But we placed our liquid white onto the canvas in all four corners equally. You don't want to have a big glob on your fingertip when you get out there, right? We're gonna be using our gorgeous Paint with Josh brushes today. Fantastic Summer Save 15. All one word, Summer Save 15. You can get these Paint with Josh brushes and save 15. How about that? We're gonna come over here, we're gonna get our ultramarine blue. Megan just sent me a brand new set of ultramarine blue paints. I'm talking about eight to 10 brand new bottles from Megan, or tubes anyway. Oh, isn't that just gorgeous? How that Paint with Josh brush just floats across the canvas, you guys. They work for acrylics and oils as, well, they're a little softer than your normal set, right? We don't need them to be too terribly rough. And I like to use them for more fine paintings, more soft skies, softer details, finer things. We like to use the Paint with Josh brushes for. And, you know, getting on our liquid white, you can do with your Paint with Josh brush. A little bit more difficult, but you can do it. You can do it. We show that we can literally do everything with these brushes now, can't we? Let's get a little bit more from our left across the canvas. And the more that we crisscross these colors together, the more they will blend in. And you get just a million shades of blue out there in the night. Fabulous. Very fine, very soft. Already looks like a bit of cloud out there, right? You can even still see through the canvas back here. So my shadow in my hand. That's how fine amount of paint that we're still putting on this canvas out here. Now let's go crazy today. Let's just get nuts. And in fact, why don't we pop in just one little touch, one little squeeb, a little old thing of blue down here, a little squeeb. We're gonna decide. Let's put it over here. We'll take our black, put it down here, and just kind of blend it together. Again, the more paint you have on the brush, the more it's going to blend and mix across our sky, right? The less paint that we have on the brush, the less that is going to happen. So, the more pressure that we're pushing as well, the more you can spread out that paint and literally make that black just almost disappear. We only want it out there for some shadows underneath our sky, right? Now, we're gonna take our Paint with Josh fan brush, gorgeous little fan brush, come into our titanium white paint. And boy, oh boy, you can tell the difference between the Bob Ross brand and the Master's Touch brand on just how easily they attach. This tube, anyway, is very thick. Now, let's get out here. We're gonna come out here and just start mushing and making little circles. Not holding the brush like a pencil, right? Out here like this so I can spin it around. And as we're popping up and mushing and pushing, we're gonna get all these little crazy bits at the top, right? Excellent. Remember, our big old mountain is gonna have to come up into your cloud. So don't start your cloud up too high. Doesn't it look like a little fish? That kind of looks like a little fish to me out there, guys. A little eyeball right here, right? What do you want your clouds to look like? You want them to be brighter? Add more paint, right? Then we'll go mix it softer. We get to do whatever. The fish is gone now. Poof! Instantly gone, right? We get to do whatever we want to do, my friends. That's the best part about painting with your old friend Paint with Josh. We're gonna get out here with our 1-inch brush, the Paint with Josh 1-inch brush, the old soft and flop. It's gorgeous out here in the night. Very lightly, just kind of flicking along the top, so we're not taking away too many of those details. And by the time we get down here, look at how hard you can push on this brush. And just let it blend away with our sky, right? Also making our area below the cloud less thick in the paint, softer, so we can then come in with our mountain, right? You guys are in control of how light, how much pressure, how bright, how dark, all up to you. So we're taking that white, kind of going over that darker color, picking up some of its shadows, bringing it back up. And the main thing is, just stop. Just stop after a while. Don't keep over blending it. It'll all mix away and look exactly the same, right? We're gonna come out here, we're gonna grab one part of our midnight black, two parts of our crimson, 2 parts of our blue, making 100% of a pile of this Paint with Josh black color. That looks like I got an insane amount of crimson, so we're gonna have to get a little bit more black. There, gorgeous, right? Flatten it all out. Turn it over like this, hold it like that, scrape it up, very easy. Flatten it back down again. Flat, 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 flat. Turn it. Scrape, 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 scrape. That big old glob. Look at that thing. Make it just like that. Perfect. Okay, now we can take this little guy, we'll flatten him down, we'll come in with our blades, scrape up a little section of that stuff and get our little roll of paint out there on the edge, and then we get to decide what we want our mountain to look like. Oh, it's fantastic. Look at this guy. We can even let him grow even bigger. How do you want it to be as it's popping down and coming over this way and getting flatter, scraping up areas from underneath to use along the top to keep that nice crisp little line out there, right? Down this way. You know what? Let's not get too crazy on this guy. Maybe we'll throw another little mountain in front of him. So get up along the edge, push hard, scrape it off. Look at how much paint we're saving down here. So the difference in the color once it starts mixing in with that liquid white. Scrape it, get rid of all that darkness. All right, the less paint that's up there, the less will grow for us, okay? So we'll take our 1-inch brush, paint with Josh 1-inch brush. You can get these, save summer 15, guys. Out there, grab it, slide it down. Up here at the top, slide it down. So we went 3 little ways down this side, okay? Grab this one up, bounce along the top edge, out here to the side. Right? Meet it at its little point. Right, so we have our one side going down there, so we're gonna meet it in the middle, getting flatter and flatter and flatter and flatter as we go. Helping our mountain kind of flatten out, become more 3D. Right? So you got that ridge, this ridge, and then what's it start looking like? That's totally up to you. How much do you blend it? Again, up to you. Let's go throw some highlights on that bad boy. And take a little bit of our titanium white, a little touch of our blue color, a little bit more than that. Come on there, Josh. There you go, a little bit. Right there, should match our blue sky color pretty well, right? Yeah, gorgeous. Not too much of a mix. Boom, 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 boom. Fabulous. Now, let's wipe off that blade. Come over here, grab up our titanium white paint. In double the amount, grab a very small amount of that blue that we had just created. Let's find a clean spot down here. There, right? That looks like snowy white brightness, but it is not as bright as our titanium untouched white paint, okay? Come out here, you gotta give the old Paint with Josh tool a little flip. It's so perfectly balanced that anyone can do it. Come off and grab our blue side. Let's attach this roll of paint, which is about a 1/16 of an inch big, right? We're gonna attach it on and then float down the canvas. See my hand shaking like crazy? I was putting on our liquid white earlier and really going ham on it. And my arm was like, ugh, just shaking now. So, just like you do after a workout. We're gonna come up here, we're gonna attach on, and maybe that'll help give me a cooler little mountain break in my snow if my arm's all tired, right? Over there, we're gonna float that little 1/16 of an inch across the canvas. Maybe we'll change the direction of our slope just by going like that. Now all of a sudden our mountain's gonna cut back this way, right? We get to choose every time. Get right up along the edge, but don't cover the last bit. That very fine little dark line up there is going to keep it separated from your sky, because that blue on that blue is going to look very similar, right? Now we'll go into our our mixture of titanium white and this very, very, very fine blue color. Attach, float, right? Float it right up on the edge, float it down. Now, if you think it's too thick, scrape it up. Get rid of that color. Don't try to just add more, okay? Now it's going to be tainted with that darkness, so it's not going to stand out as much. So let's go over here. Let's grab this guy. There we go. Lighter pressure, less paint on the blade. Give us more breaks. That I'm not pushing up here. This is just a stable. I don't know what else to do with my finger, right? Because I like to hold it like this. That's it. And I just rest, right? I'm not pushing in because that's going to smear it. So it's more like a stabilizer. Like I'm not even using either of these two. Watch, I'll show you. I guess we are when we're scraping it up. But once we come up here, all right, we'll touch on and just float it, float it, float it. I'm adjusting the pressure of how much it is right here, not pushing on it, but adjusting it with those ones right there, just like this, kind of, hang on. In, and there we go, just like that, right? We're adjusting our pressure there and having to float over the edge, right? So even though this one looks like I'm don't, it's just sitting here, right? It's just out there, just to help my hand feel steadier. We have that little bit, right? Doesn't that look pretty cool? Pretty cool, guys. The more you drag down here, right, the more we're not going to care because we're going to get in there and mess it all up anyway. I could come over this side. I could change it back. I could put my light back in there and then bring it even further in front and cut our ridge down again, making it just different. That's all we're trying to do, is just make it a little different out there, right? We're gonna grab our 2-inch brush, Paint with Josh 2-inch. Again, Summer Save 15 is the one you need out there. Mods will tell you how to get where you're going. Over here, I got the people on Facebook too. So if somebody could get over on Facebook, that would be fantastic. I always forget about them on the Monday Night Madness show. Right? Dragging and just softening those colors. Now, what if I wanted another little section of mountain or whatever, some other little thing, and maybe up into its projection right here. Got a whole other thing, into that foggy, misty area, not up into the crazy mountainous part. All right, this one, we're using more paint, so it's gonna be a bit darker in its color, same exact color as it was, just depending on how much paint we leave up here. And I could turn this little guy into a whole little thing. Back here, there's a little ridge. It goes off down the side this way. All depends on how I pull it when I get up there with my brush. It's gonna determine what it looks like, okay? So if I get up here, grab it up along the edge and push it out there. Right? You can even mix this guy up so much out in here that it looks like some misty fog in between. We're gonna put a big old tree over here on the outside, so it doesn't really matter what it looks like. You can even take them and go straight off the edge and connect in with all this mist. Right? Again, how do you want it to look? Because it's totally up to you how it looks. And the more that we mix from the edge out, the softer that paint gets, okay? Pull it down this way. Maybe one more little ridge down that way. Let's come down this way, just a touch, just a little. All right, this Paint with Josh brush is very soft. Grab this guy, right through. It's gonna create a little ridge in there. All we're trying to do is make stuff look 3D, and you can't do that if you're just pulling down the same direction with everything. Up here on its ridge, grab it, slide it down this way, grab some of that other guy, make sure we have that ridge retained. Right? It doesn't need to be perfect. We can take it up like that. Now it's gonna look like coming down this way, right? Again, how do you want it to look? Because it's all up to you every time you go to do your paintings. Now, since we over-mix this area out on the right, it's lost a little bit of its dark color. So we're gonna get it back in there with our darkness. Okay. And we're gonna go back and we're gonna decide how dark, right? If we very lightly push it, it'll stay real dark like that, okay? Grab some of that paint, take it from up here, then drop it down here, and take it from up here, then drop it down there. You know what I mean? The more times you do that, the more times it's going to darken. Here we go. An extra, and that'll at least keep our brain thinking, okay, we got one side going this way, one side going that way. It's all up to us every time, you guys. I'm telling you. Have I not told you already? Have I not told you? So, let's go back into our highlight color. We're going to need to make up some more of our snow. We're going to take a little bit more white and a lot more blue this time than we grabbed the first time. Making it again a sky blue color, but this time I want a little bit deeper, darker tone than the first time. See? Get a little bit deeper, darker blue in this one. Not much darker, but slightly more noticeable than this guy. Okay? Mix that up. Let's wipe our blade off. We'll come back in and we're going to get down on our titanium white. Again, one little teeny tiny bit. Mix it up down here. I grabbed a little bit of that gray too, but that's okay. There. Right? A little bit of our color for our quote-unquote bright snow, and then our shadowy snow, okay? Wipe off our blade. You guys got to check in. Tell me where you're watching from out there. What time is it where you're from right now? Because it's 5:13 for me, and we've already done an entire mountain range and a whole sky in 13 minutes. That's insanity. Okay, let's come up here. Which side are we going to put our blue on, class? Are you painting along with me? Which side do our blue shadows go on? Are we gonna put our blue shadows on this side and this side? Or are we gonna put our blue shadows on that side and that side? Right side or left side? What do you think? Type it in now. Because you gotta learn, right? I'm not just always gonna be there for you. You gotta learn. We got Italy, people checking in from New York, Denmark, everywhere. Lots of rights. You guys have been paying attention. Texas, Argentina. Dude, Hervey Bay, where the heck is that? 10:14 a.m. On what day? Is that in Australia? Are you in Australia right now? You guys are correct. We're gonna take our blue paint, we're gonna scrape up just a little bit of it, right? Actually, make sure when you're making your blue that you mix it all the way down, because a big old patch of white tends to hang out right at the bottom in the middle. So, scrape it out. We've got our little touch on here, right? The more times we scrape, the more paint is going to adhere to our blade. We're gonna come off the back side, so we'll touch it and then just hover down, hover down, hover down. Remember, not pushing with our index finger, trying to get this very small little roll of paint to fall off very lightly. I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to push it too hard, because when I'm pushing it too hard, that's going to smear the paint. If I can go over it like that and have it pick up in different places where the canvas wants it, it's literally telling us what to do. It's saying, hey, okay, stop, I've got enough, I've got to do it now. Now you did too much. You know what I mean? The canvas is sitting there yelling at you. You just can't hear it. You just can't hear it until you've done enough paintings to figure out when to stop. Right? Let's go back to our quote-unquote white snow, which we know is not as white as our pure titanium white is, because we mixed a little bit of this blue into it. We can take this guy, we can very lightly, again, hovering like Marty McFly on his board, just floating across, letting the paint get picked up by the canvas, right? All we're trying to do. We don't want it to grow too far. We don't want to push on it too hard, because that's going to smear it for us, right? A little smear. Not bad on a bagel, but on a painting, no, we don't want to smear it up now, do we? Right? Down here, we can let these guys almost just right into that shadowy side as well. And wherever you want them to be, say you wanted a projection of light, bang, right there. It's just popped up, all of a sudden changed our whole look of our mountain, right? Because we never want it to be just a straight line of a thing. So throw some weird bit in there that's going to help it, right? Slide this guy off down here very lightly, kind of intermixing them, picking up a little bit of our blue, creating that little shadow of our ridge. You can even come back in here and slide the blue up into the whites over there. Over here, sliding it here and there, and then wherever we want it to be, we can have it be. Do we want to have some cool projections off the front side? Just get up a little bit taller, down that paint, and have it be weird. And it's supposed to be strange. It's not supposed to be this crazy perfect thing. We go way over there and pull against all of that, right? Now we're out here in our white. It's not really gonna do us any good, but you can let it grow. These things like to grow forever, you guys. So totally up to you. Don't let it go all the way out to the side. Don't do as I say, not as I do. Okay, we're gonna come back in here. A little bit of our 2-inch brush. Again, we're holding it this way wide. Does anyone know why we hold it very flat against the canvas like this? Anyone know versus like this? It looks like it would be easier. I might not get my hands dirty if I was out here sweeping it, right? But why do we hold it like this versus anything else? Anyone? Already got paint on my hands, guys. No one told me. None of yous told me out there. This is gonna be a cool one, dudes. The brush strokes, so you don't pick up the paint. No idea. I like that. Less pressure. Exactly. Less pressure, right? We cannot control our pressure out here. You know what I mean? It's harder to know how hard I'm pushing being this far away from the canvas. If I'm right here, I know my fingers are gonna hit my mountain if I'm too close, right? I don't wanna have any pressure pushing this one towards, which is why I'm holding it by the handle, basically being very rubbery, letting it float in my hand, okay, going up our backside, just, anyone hear it going, forget about it, up the backside of the mountain, right, the shadowy side over here. I mean, it's shadowy over there too, but we're gonna come this way because we took our palette tool. Hang on, I need like a 5-second break. Oh man, that was not planned. We do all these things live. It's literally live. No script, no. Man, I cracked myself up. Okay, off the backside of this mountain, right? We're gonna go very lightly, just trying to disturb the paint. Not all the way to the top, just trying to take away some bits, get a little disturbance out there, and then we're going to rotate the brush, holding it very flat this way and trying not to get the back of my fingers dirty, right? We're going to come from the white area out here as high as you want to go, be very light. All we're trying to do is just like when you're trying to, you know, touch a baby's face. Like if the baby's asleep, but it hasn't moved in a while, and I'm nervous, so I just want to just is it alive? And then it can, and you're like, okay, just as soft as possible, right? Otherwise, we're gonna wake up the baby, and then we're gonna have to get back to baby saying we can't paint anymore, right? So soft. Then you go from that so soft into, we're gonna tap out a little bit, picking up a very small amount of that blue paint and tapping it down, tapping it down. Let's tap this guy down this way too, just like that. we kept going, it looks like we're making grass almost. You know what I mean? We're just creating more land that we can't really see anymore. Right? So we're kind of picking it up, tapping it down, tapping it this way. We're gonna have to start tapping out this way and this way, because now we're on the front side of our mountain. So we're picking up just the smallest little bit. Tap, 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 tap. Now what does this do? Right? What does this do? I mean, it looks like a cool little bit of land already, just from how we've tapped it out, right? But what does it do? It softens our next layer, right? Because we can come in here now, even with just the corner of the brush. Remember, big old 2-inch brush, Paint Josh 2-inch brush, very soft though. So you can get just 3 or 4 bristles to hit the canvas and not use the rest. Yeah, see what I mean? Very soft brush. We'll come out here like this, kind of come up, grab a little bit of our snow and wiggle it down. Maybe take some of this guy and wiggle it over here, just so lightly, so gently with those Paint with Josh brushes. Out there, over here, we're going to turn the brush this way, so I'm kind of grabbing it with still that same front corner. I'm just holding it in a different way, right? Using that same front corner. Come up here, we can mix it up above our horizon, doesn't really matter. We got another mountain back there, right? But all of a sudden, you can see how we're piecing these things together. What might come next, would you say? Because I can just see a forest full of trees at the base of these guys out here, guys. So, we don't even need to mix up any paint. All we need to do is grab our Paint with Josh fan brush. Okay, let me show you the difference between a fan brush that's painted on maybe 3 canvases and a fan brush that's painted on about 1,000 canvases, right? There's not a lot of change beyond the color and that the bristles are kind of splitting apart, right? But they still make the same shape. My point being, Paint with Josh brush is super durable. Literally over 1,000 canvases this thing has touched since I got the brushes in hand to the painting that we are now, over 1,000, and it looks like that, right? It's not all like all split and weird and crazy, you know what I mean? Literally, they're a good investment, I'm telling you. Get your Paint with Josh brushes now. We're even going to use the old one just to show you that it still works perfectly. Get up into all that thick paint and then wiggle it down, wiggle it down, wiggle it down. It can look like a perm down there, right? Over here, we'll wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it, down there. The more that we wiggle it down, the more we're spreading the bristles apart. How did that happen? The more we're spreading the bristles apart, right? And they're filling in with paint. Right? So they'll all be held together. If they're not held together, right, then we don't have enough paint on the brush. Now let's come out here and let's decide, in fact, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take one little bit of our white paint that was down here, our little snowy stuff, plop it on like that. And mix it down, just like that, right? We're gonna make this thing just a tiny, tiny, tiny touch brighter. There. The more white that we put in, this stuff gets really bright really fast. We need it to be darker than this color at the base of our mountain, right? That darker, kind of shadowy mountain color. So that should work just perfectly. And then we can also stack things in front of itself. Now, should we start down here or should we start up here? Just for camera's sake, we'll start on this side and we'll work our way up the edge instead of starting here and working our way down, okay? So down here into that misty area, it's just, watch this, it's just literally as much paint as the untouched area, right? This is the bottom area, this is I should have done it vice versa, but just as much paint. So it's very, very, very fine, very thin amount of paint that's down there because we've mixed it up so much, right? Up here, if I touch it and pull away, it's gonna be like this. And I'm gonna have no bit of separation, no little dots, no anything, because there's so much paint up there. Now, when we're doing this, we're not touching the brush straight onto the canvas level like that. We are angling it down, right? That way the top of it can hit first. Now, the more of these that you do, the more it's going to split the brush. And if you don't do them close enough, it's gonna look like we got a fence out there, right? So let's get in here, let's wiggle it up. And it is not a random smashing either. And you can only really hit the canvas 3 or 4 times before it starts to get too fat. So you focus on the top first. You go down, right? Then we'll go over a little bit and down. This is an exaggerated thing, okay? And I'm gonna go back and fill it in over and down again, over and down. Basically making a little pyramid of about 30 little trees out there, right? Down like that, down like that. The more we fill it in, the darker it looks, the more it will make it look like a further away little forest. So again, kind of tap it down, off to the side, off to the side. Leave a bigger gap in between some of these things. Come over here, tap it down. Maybe this guy gets a little taller. And we go back in and get real low on that one again. So you're just creating all these little different themes, not worrying about what's going on underneath. Right? We're always going to come back. We're not going to try to go up and hit that white snow. So no matter what, stop before you hit that snow. Okay? Out here, and again, just an over-exaggeration of our little pyramid of trees. And then as you fill them in and pop in more little trees, this will be a bigger exaggeration. See what I mean? The more you do, the more it's going to look like some forest. We don't need it to be too big as far as this way, right? But we do need to climb up, climb up, climb up. Out there in the night. Now see how that one's kind of fat along the top? Because by the time I had gotten up there, my brush had split apart because there was no longer any paint left holding it together. So we can come down onto this one. Couple little things. Nice sharp little tip top. A little tip top on this guy, over here, wherever. And then just filling in the same amount of space, but since we're higher, it's not taking up the same amount of space down here. We don't need it to be just straight across the bottom. Okay, we can always go back in, filling in little spots. Popping up on a new little bit of a tree, a little bit over here. Maybe we leave an empty spot in there. Maybe we make that one a little taller. Maybe we do whatever. All right, we gotta have those sharp little tops on them. Otherwise, they're not gonna look like what we want them to look like, okay? Now, we're gonna get out here with our big old 2-inch brush again. Still haven't cleaned it. You can still see the blue sky, the mountain, all that stuff, because we're not pushing on it and dragging it so much that we're filling the brush full of color, right? Even the color that's on there. Look at the blue. Where? Show me where it is. Where is the blue, right? There is no blue on the brush. There's nothing on it, really, okay? What we're gonna do is we're going to either take our 1-inch or 2-inch. If we use the 2-inch, I was like tilting back, losing my balance towards the camera. If we use the 2-inch, it's gonna grow real far, right? So our darkness is gonna get down here very quickly, okay? If we use the 1-inch, it's not gonna grow as far or as quickly. And what we're doing is kind of tapping it again at that downward angle. So you can tap down a couple times, tap down a couple times, tap down. You can even bring it over here where it wasn't even before and make a foggier version just by picking up some of this paint, tapping it up. Right? Little things, right? We're never gonna see every single thing out there. So take that guy, grab the base of it, you know what I mean? Just start tapping it down. The more you bring it down, you're gonna grab some of that white, you're gonna bring the white up, you're gonna bring the dark down, you're gonna bring the white up and dark down, just like this. Over and over and over again. All right? Remember that you're not necessarily painting a whole bunch of trees. This could be another rocky bit of mountain with trees on the top of it, which is only why we show the tip tops of them like that. All right? All up to us. If they're real big or real close, or we have too much detail, how much darker we can make this guy over here? You can come up way over there if you wanted to. Seriously. Who's telling you you can't? All right? Come down like this. Mixing up the bottom, letting it blend in with our liquid white that's down there, right? And even since we did it with our 1-inch, we can still do this. It takes more swipes at it, but you can still do the same thing. You're just softening this textured area and leaving a softer area underneath for our next little layer to come down. Oh guys, that looks really stinking neat so far. I was gonna put some water down at the base of this guy, but that looks like a snowy field just waiting to come to life to me. What's it look like to you? Do you see anything right now? Like if you were to just stop, you're like, because of these horizontal streaks down in our land, right? They give the indication that maybe there's something flat out there. Can you see something going this way into the paint, like into it and then turning before our forest? Do you see a mountain snow? Do you see a lake? Because you could still put one in. It's totally up to you every time you do it. You know what I mean? Totally up to us, guys. You see now, see? Oh, so you say you see a lake. Do you see? This one's coming out really cool. It's not just black, no. It is a mixture, because it kind of turns purpley gray. It's a mixture of our crimson, our blue, and a little touch of black. 2 parts blue, 2 parts crimson, 1 part black will make it, and then you can adjust that part black where it could be 3 parts black. It's gonna be really dark. You know what I mean? We're saving that as we get closer. Basically taking it from a lighter color to a darker color to a darker color to a darker color as we get closer to us. Right? Now let's just decide if we want to put in a little old bit of water out there. You know what I'm gonna? You know, all right, let's do it now. Let's do it now. Let's grab our ultramarine blue. Right? Back onto our 2-inch brush. Open it up. Have it in from down here. Now, not all of this has to be water. We can always go back over and cover it, but if we don't put the watercolor, not necessarily watercolor, but the color of the water underneath, and then go dab off our brush really good. We don't need to clean it. Just dab it off on paper towel real good, and then come back in here, swipe those two bits of blue together, take them up as high as we want to go. And then, let's say we decide not to do water. That's okay, we'll have a couple little bluey shadows into our snow by the time we get down there. You can mix some of this stuff down, up or down, right? Then I'm going to decide where would I want to have a bit of snowy land, because it's obviously I'm not going to put my, I mean you could put your forest right on top of your water, but I want to have a little snowy bit of land, which is why I've left this gap in here. Okay, even with the paint with Josh, we're going to dab it off. Even though it looks like it's holding color, it is not, right? There we go. Pick up some of our white over there, and let's just say way out here, we start sliding down. We're gonna get higher up into our forest, changing the angle from up here steeper and then flat. All right, you gotta be flat down there. Boom, 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 like Ken over here. Swiping it down, swiping it down. You start to see your snow start growing, right? So what if we got a little bit more of that snow? We came down here a little bit further and further and further. It's going to make it look like our land is a bit further away over there, a bit closer over here. All dependent on what we want it to look like. Like I said, if I wanted to get rid of the water, I could literally put enough white over the top to get rid of all this blue. We are in control of what it looks like, and we're literally making it up as we go. Now, if you want to have this be close, right? Right now, it kind of looks a little far away. If I add details with the palette tool, it's going to make that snow look closer because we'll be able to see more things. Also, if you want a really crisp line at the front, just like we do with our seascapes, right? You can come out here, scrape down real hard, okay? And then kind of take that guy and slide it back. This one out here should be very slight. There we go. One inside here should be a little bit thicker, but now we're going to have a definite edge to where our land is, okay? Then underneath that guy, in order to make it stand out, we're going to take a little touch of our Paint with Josh plaque color. I'm talking about the littlest line that you can get all the way up underneath that guy. Very small. I mean, even that, without even pulling it down with our brush, right? Now let's say, Josh, I made too big of a mark, right? Oh no, because it happens, don't worry. I made too big of a splotch down underneath my water. Now it looks a little funky. Josh, what do? No! What do? I come back with my 2-inch brush like this. We get very close, very slightly pull down, because the more paint that's up there, the more it's going to want to roll down, you know what I mean? This guy's down like that, okay? The more you do it, the softer it will become, and it may start reflecting your trees off in the distance. Now, how much of that reflection do you want to keep? That's up to you, right? By swiping over them to the side with that same pressure, just trying to get them to kind of fade away a little bit, right? The more that I fade them away, the less they look like reflections, and the more they look like just a little bit of darker shadow right in between our snow and our water. Just like so, guys, right? And get out here, get very flat, because all this stuff back here is going to be all hidden by our bigger foreground or midground stuff that's happening up here. Just like so. We can even take our white, drag it right back down, and make it even smaller and less noticeable. If it's smaller and less noticeable, it'd be further away in the distance, okay? Now, let's just decide, we could wrap around a whole little river in here. We could do more stuff. If we cut it off right here, it could be a little pond, right? Going, ooh, and we can put a little fence. Guys, I'm feeling it. 2 trees over here, at least one tree, probably bigger than our mountain, right? So sitting right there, a little fat old little pine tree, little Christmassy tree. I'll show you how to make them look so gorgeous, right? I'm gonna sit down here in the front, so it'll look like our river is, ooh. We could either look like our river's rolling through this way by placing bushes in the front over here, getting smaller and smaller and smaller, revealing more water, or we could wrap it around, create a pond, literally pop a bush. You don't even have to do anything, just put a bush right there, drag out, and then you got your little pond off in the distance. You could leave it like this and continue your thing further across, right? It's all up to you what you feel like doing. Now, this stuff over here, like I told you, and say, oh man, I went over too far. It's so light, it will literally blend away. The more I go over that very lightly, the softer it makes it. Again, taking away the details, pushing it further away. Okay, let's get in here and we're gonna launch in. Yeah, I feel it. I don't see too much back here. There, right there. Just right around the edge of that forest, just in case we don't get it with our next tree, because it doesn't get covered. At least it's got a little snow going down that way. Okay, now in order to create the most perfect pine trees that you've ever seen, we're gonna scrape up all this darkness. We're gonna use our black, crimson, and blue as our base shadow color. So I'm just mixing a little bit more of that into what was already there. Scrape this guy up, right? Again, flatten it. All we're ever doing is doing that. We're either scraping it this way or flattening it that way. Scrape it, flatten it, right? A lot of people have trouble with the old palette tools. And this is when I am pushing down because I want it to get flat. Do you want your mountain to look like that? Right? Don't push on the blade when you're trying to do your mountain. When you're mixing, different story. Push it out like that. A little bit of that same darkness. This is what we love about just limited palette paintings. We haven't touched any of these other colors. Forget they exist over here. They're not here, right? It's just these guys right there. The 4 main bad boys that we've got today to do this really ice cold little painting. It's just gonna be fantastic. So remember, you guys can get your Paint with Josh brushes, and if you use, what is it, Summer Save 15, all one word, it'll help you. Also, if you want a couple little sticks or little tree trunks out the top of your trees out here, and there's enough paint to do it, there, one little spiky little guy, same thing up here, just to give you one more fine little detail that someone's gonna notice. Now that we've got all this dark color mixed up, let's go grab our Paint with Josh fan brush. And even the old one makes the most amazing trees you've ever seen. The old, the new, okay? Remember, if it's going to be the closest thing in front, it has to not necessarily be so tall, right? But it's got to get up at least into this area. Doesn't have to be taller than the mountain necessarily, right? But at least up here above that mountain's lowest horizon is where that tree has to sit. And that way it'll look like it's closer. Now, as I'm noticing, if I put a tree right here, and then another one maybe a little bit taller, by the time they get down here, they're gonna hit all of this. Now what's gonna happen if my trees intermix in, this dark paint intermixes with too much of that light paint, it's gonna go like a crazy bright gray color, which will no longer look close, it will look distant and far away, right? So we're gonna decide, let's scrape a little. Let's just get rid of a little, just a little bit, right? Just gonna get rid of that color. Bang, bang. Remove it off of the canvas. Get rid of it, and then that'll at least be a little bit of extra room. We may not even need more than 2, but we'll figure it out. Let's get up here. We're gonna launch in our first guy. We're probably only gonna get 1 in there, but we're gonna, just like that. You can either tap down a line like this, or you can draw down a line, right? However you want it to be. All it is a guideline. We don't even need to, we know we're gonna, by the time we get down, we're gonna end up down here, but we don't have to paint that. It's just as a thing to keep you on the right path, right? Now, we're gonna come out here, and we don't even have to really start all the way at the top. We just wanna give it a couple little taps here, a couple little taps there. Already you can see we're going in a Z shape. So we're gonna click, down, 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 getting bigger, bigger, bigger. Now watch, we can do it as an over-exaggerated thing. Get down like that, over here, over there, over there, over there. Right? The more that we do, that's a funky looking little tree. The more that we fill it in, the more it starts looking real, right? So, as we're going, back and forth, hitting it, trying to get as much paint onto the canvas as possible, remembering that not everywhere has to be symmetrical. Doesn't have to work like that. Little taps, little things, bing, bang, boom, pop out a little weirdness, right? All this is our shadow base color. By the time we get down here, we're kind of slapping it out. It's almost that same motion, right? We're just out here, a little further away, a little further, flipping the brush over, smacking it, following along my little branchy little thing down here. And remember, all we're doing is painting that first layer, that base layer. We pop out like that, kind of rotate the brush up a little bit, smack, hit it like that, right? The more little differences and little things that you have in there, the better your little tree is going to be. Boom, pop it out, make it all weird, make it crazy, have it get nuts. And then remember, we're going to have our bushes and stuff underneath it, kind of filling up the rest of this space, dropping down, doing whatever, right? We'll make it up as we go. That's how we like doing it anyway. Now, let's get our little Paint with Josh smaller fan brush. So the Paint with Josh number 4, the little guy, just a little old fan brush. Because, you want to know why I made it small? Because inevitably we are going to get up here and make a mistake, right? You guys are just brand new, trying it out. Maybe you've done 60 paint, maybe you've done 800 paintings. Still, you're gonna make a mistake. You're gonna hit the canvas too hard, right? I do it all the time. And if I know I'm gonna make a mistake, I'm gonna use a smaller brush, therefore being a smaller mistake, tapping on. All we're doing was getting our liquid white into our ultramarine blue, having it change its consistency, right? We don't need it to be super thick when it comes up to this part. We want it to be nice and thin, okay? And all I'm doing is now, as we're getting down here, kind of tapping it on 3 or 4 times like Christmas lights, okay? Imagine you're wrapping the tree in Christmas lights, okay? So you got maybe 1, 2, 3, okay, like that. Leaving a space in between, because your mom would yell at you if you put the Christmas lights too close together. Or was that just my mom? I'm out here, tapping on little Christmas lights. Boom, boom, boom. Leaving spaces in between. Trust me, it's gonna look right by the time we get there. We don't have just 750,000 over on TikTok, or 180-something thousand on YouTube, 450+ thousand on Facebook for no reason, plus a million, over a million on the gram for no reason, right? Just trust the process. Come out here, a little bit more of that dark blue, making the consistency different, right? So we're tapping along, and we're dropping down, tapping along, tapping along, tapping along. Not every place needs to be overly filled. Remember the Christmas lights, okay? Now, with just that black or plaque version of our darkness and blue, you can already see that there's a little tree out there just waiting for us to come check him out, right? Now what we're gonna do is use the exact same brush. We're gonna wash it off. We're gonna go into our liquid white, into our titanium white, mixing these two together. Right, until we get a consistency that will deposit off our brush easily, a much wetter version. Cannot use liquid white all on its own, cannot use titanium white all on its own. It's got to be the right mix. So what I like to do is add a little bit, then we'll go down, kind of drag a little bit of our titanium white down into our liquid white, and then kind of try to force it back up onto the itself right here, just to see how wet it is, you know what I mean? A little sloppiness, it's all crazy. Now, my brush is really full, so I don't want to put full pressure onto that canvas or our tree, otherwise it's going to make a really bright spot, right? Come up there, dropping a little bit of our white onto the top. I'm going to turn it, and we're going to start little smacks. So little smack, little smack, little smack. The smaller the smack, the smaller the branch, right? Come out here, drop down, little smack, smack, smack. Connecting on to our little Christmas light chain from the other side. Now we're going to drop down again, right? How much paint do I have on this guy? Smack, smack, smack. Bang, leaving a little space. Boom, boom, boom. Bing, bang, bow, right? The more that you bing, bang, bow, the more you're gonna see that it's gonna look like a little Christmas tree out there. Always get a little bit more liquid white before you get back up here. And then we're gonna come in, tapping it on, tapping it on, tapping it on, little themes. You can always go back over those real bright areas and make them a little bit darker. And not everything has to be a perfect little thing, right? I always usually have 2 to 3 lines of Christmas lights on my tree, so they're overlapping and different stuff, not necessarily being perfect. You see how they line up from the light to the dark. And again, you can take your time. I'm always trying to get through them and get people educated, because they never hang out for as long as you want them to. There we go, a couple little taps, bang, a couple little taps, right? Feeding down into those blue taps, blue taps, blue taps. Out there. Leaving a little space in between, remember? Doesn't always have to be the same. And then it doesn't have to be just a straight line down the whole thing either, right? I tend to like to cover over some of those blue taps. Boom, boom, boom. Different places. Getting more of a theme. I would rather you have a tree that's too dark than something that's too bright, right? So remember, don't get too bright out there in the day. I'm gonna come up underneath this guy too that got real bright, like I told you, where we're gonna make a mistake. You always do. Kind of darken it down with the darkness. There. Bink. perfect, you guys. Okay, let's mix up, yeah, we're gonna have to mix up some more of our dark paint because we never have enough. So if you're brand new, do you know the 3-color mix that it takes to make up the Paint with Josh plaque mix? Do you know? That's a cool little tree out there, you guys. Cool little tree out there. You know what we're gonna do for this one? Do you see? We'll come down like this. If we're gonna just make this, let's make him go off, right? He's gonna roll through our painting. So we're gonna take that darkness, come up there, slide it down, slide it over. There. That way, we've got a river running through now, right? And we can decide where we wanna put everything else. But do you know the 3 colors? I didn't want to go and grab them right in front of you while I was asking a question. So we stalled a little bit. Do you know the 3 colors? Did I say numbers? The 3 colors that it takes to make up Paint with Josh plaque. Can you tell it's my Friday and I'm exhausted? Does it show? Oh, that is so gorgeous, you guys. Look at that tree. Can you do a solid black and white painting? I have done it before, for sure. So when I first started, I did 3 colors. It was blue, black, and white, right? Because all the other colors scared me. I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to, try like green and yellow. Like they seemed, intimidating. I was like, no, I just want to do like a winter scene. I'm from Utah anyway. I just want to do a little winter scene, right? It was all a bunch of, I was just scared. Here we go. Filling in little spots, little things, little here, little there. Very cool. I'm figuring if this guy is closer to us, we should be able to see it a bit more dark. So we're going to take a bit more of that plaque mix. We're going to let this river roll right past our little scene out here. There. So let's get a little darker as we come closer to us. Come down here, take a little bit, not too much. There. A little bit of it. Wipe it away. Bing, bang, boom. Now we got our water flowing behind us. You can even get back up in there with your liquidy or our titanium white and just push it on like we're using it or like we're making a seascape or something. And you can even drop off some paint out there. Just cut in some closer details. Again, making it look like a little snowy field that's just not so perfect out there. Right? Now, we've mixed up all of our dark color. We're going to go into our Paint with Josh brush. And again, I'm going to show you the difference that I want you to turn your Paint with Josh brush into this, right? Because this makes a perfect bush. This is how the Paint with Josh brush comes initially, very small in there, right? So if anything, get in there and just flatten it out. You know what I mean? Like just like you're trying to give it an exam. Just flatten it, just all the way down even. You can take them and pull them down this, I don't care. The more you do it, the more it's going to fatten out and then eventually look like the old one, right? So let's say even, okay, all right, Josh, prove it, right? Push this guy down like this. We're gonna really fold it over. And then we're gonna use this exact brush. Oh, the manufacturer does not like it when I do this to the brush. But this is what you gotta do. Look, give it a little bob. Oh, that's a mohawk, hang on. Give it a little bob down there. I don't know, right? Then we'll fatten it out. That's just one time, it's already doubled in its size, okay? Now, if I wanted to come in here, I'm not going to want to load up the brush flat onto the canvas. I want to onto my palette. I want to angle it down like this, picking up those colors on the top side, right? That way, we've got this weird little thing that looks like a bush already, and you can start popping out. Oh, look at it! Little things, little weird little oddities, filling all this stuff in down here, leaving these little bits along the top because they look really cool. Right? You don't want to cover over everything. Really cool. The more that we tap at this little guy, right, the more it's going to smush all those cool little things. So you get to be the judge about where it is, how far, if you want to cut up in front, right? You definitely don't want to put another tree right over here and have them both be the exact same size and on the exact same plane. It just makes it look like a field goal, right? Just do one like that, and then let's go put some stuff on these little guys. And again, the more you can hurt this brush, I'm telling you, the better it's going to make bushes like that. Even just smooshing it like that, right? And if I wanted to come in, and now that we've got all those weird little oddities, maybe we can pop up again, pop over here, push over there. Look at those little bits that even the depth down in there because of the brush. Amazing. Now, let's go wash this guy out. We really got to get all that darkness out of that brush if you want it to make a nice looking shape again, or be a nice bright color. Get all that dark paint out. Then we're gonna really beat the devil out of it, or beat the bejesus out of it, I like to say. Trying to hurt the brush, okay? That's the only way that it's gonna get flared out, is if we're trying to make it, trying to ruin it. I don't want it to be perfect. I don't want it to be new anymore, right? Now it's got paint on, it's definitely not new anymore. So again, get in there, right? Flatten it, whatever. Okay, smash it, put it on your hand and just mush it until it's all the way flat, right? It's exactly what I want, because it will start to widen out the more that we use it, okay? Now, again, just to give it some weird, odd little shape, because I liked how that looked. Let's take this guy down again, flatten him down. There, cool, wicked. Get a little bit of our liquid white, a little bit just on the top side of the brush, a little bit of our blue. We're gonna plunge in there, bang, just like that. Like we're jumping into the pool. Poosh, poosh, poosh at that downward angle. And all that stuff. Remember, we have different bushes out here that need some different shaded areas. Not every bush is going to have the same bit of shaded area, but it has to have some bit of that blue, some bit of darker color than the white that we're going to put on top in order to have it look like a little shadow out there, okay? So, yes, let me know where you're from. Check in right now. Even if you're watching the live after the live show, check in. I always love knowing where the peoples are from. And like I said, I don't know if I said earlier, if this one finds a new home, we'll come back and do a second show. And if not, then that's okay too. That's okay too. Break my little heart, why don't you? Let's get over here. See what you guys are up to. Where are you from? Sweden, New York, Texas, Vermont. Man, you guys, New Zealand, Norway, Netherlands, Cincinnati, UK, London, Ohio, Indiana, Bhutan, Scotland, Connecticut, California, Trinidad, wicked cool, Pennsylvania over there on Facebook, Frisco, Texas, Indonesia, Pennsylvania, New Orleans, Antarctica, Australia. Hey, you guys in Antarctica and Australia, you better get together. You're probably the closest ones together besides, you know, Antarctica versus anywhere else. Now, we're going to take all of our little brush again, try to fatten it out, mess it up any way we can. A little bit of our liquid white. Come down in here, get into our titanium white, right? So we got about that much liquid white. Probably got too much. I'm going to just into the paint, right? We're not down here trying to load it like this. We're up into the pile, trying to make about 1 million little peaks and valleys in that part of the paint. Can you see it? I can't tell whether you guys can see it or not. That means we got all those little peaks and valleys and chunks into our brush. Oh, there we go, fatten it out a little bit. Now I'm gonna hit it from different angles. We're gonna change, rotate the brush over when it starts getting too dark. Pop on a little thing out there, a little bit here, a little bit there. Try to rotate it again, maybe we get a little bit more paint. Drop down here, in between that little shadowy area, covering this little shadowy area, right? However we want it to be, my friends, is how it'll be. We obviously don't want to cover up everything, right? Then we got this cute little thing out here, and then we can decide again, right, whether or not you want to have some land down at the base of this guy, in which case you can drag up as far as you want, and extend backwards. Right? A piece of land out here growing, and in which case our land would have a lot of our white snow, which the more you go over that dark color, the more it's going to change the color of our white snow, right? So we get to decide, and then wherever our brush marks are, swipe back up into the bush very lightly. Right? Take them away. Very cool, guys. Isn't that neat? Just a cute little old guy out there. If you're not as good as me, that's okay. That's okay. I do have tons of tutorials. We've got thousands and thousands of videos on TikTok, tons of reels on the book, tons of shorts on the tubes, and everywhere else. The gram, I've got so many videos on the gram, more than 3,000 videos on the gram, you guys. Literally. If you want to see short clips, right? TikTok and the gram are where it's at for the short clips. The longer ones are on the tube. Sometimes we put some longer ones on Facebook, but a lot of times we're using our reels on Facebook as well, just at a different time of postaging, right? I never like everything to be the same. And I'm going to give you a hint, guys. You guys that are trying to have your own channels and grow your pages and stuff, like, what was my hint? Oh, don't post all your stuff at the same time on every platform. Don't do it, because then someone's going to see it when they open up their gram, and then they're going to like it, and then they're going to go to TikTok, and they're going to be scrolling through, and they're going to see it again. They're going to be like, I already saw this once today, but okay, I like it. Then they're going to go to the book or over to the tube, and they're going to see it again the same day, and you're like, for real? Like, eye roll, for real? So don't do that. Don't post everything the same on the same day. I'm telling you, from experience. I need one more little spot right here. There, just right there, little spot. Oh, just getting hit by that. Just a little kiss from the sun. Right there on that little guy. Right now, we're gonna go wash off this brush again. So I already washed it off, and I go get it dirty again. Am I the only one that does that? You guys are gonna start coming up with a title for this painting, right? We got our little river rolling through in the background. Back here, we're gonna take a little bit of that liquid white as well. Just right there. I don't want it to be everywhere. I don't need it to be thick. Just need to have a little bit up into that dark, kind of separating our dark from our blue. That little touch of like some water running in a big old Z shape. They can look like little ripples and different things. Right? All up to us. Each time that we go to do it, another chance to do it differently. We're not really going to see the water line back there, so don't you dare try to sneak it back there and then hit your bush and then have to make your bush bigger and all that. I've done it. I've done it before, guys. I'm telling you, I've done everything you've done. I've painted everything you've painted and failed at it. All right? Over 2,070 paintings, in fact, that we've done. We've tried it all. People are like, well, I wish you would paint something different. I'm like, well, I wish you would have followed me 4 years ago when we were painting that other stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you never can please everybody. That's another thing, too. Don't try to please everybody, man. It's just never going to happen. Some people only want to see ocean scenes. Some people only want to see autumn scenes. Some people only want to see winter scenes. You're just never going to please everyone. So you know what I do? I just paint what I feel like. Paint what I feel like that day. You know what I mean? And then what the best part about it is having so many followers now. Whatever I felt like painting the night before, tons of people paint the next day. That is so wild. It's like, it's wild. It blows my mind. Like, I had a little idea, and I painted a scene, and then person after person after person is posting their version of my scene. And it's just so heartwarming, you guys, literally. Like, I do all of this for you guys, right? So we can all get better and learn together and improve together, right? That's why we're out here doing these live shows all the time. This is the only job that I have. It's the only income that I have is when these paintings find new homes, right? So if you would like to help me out a little bit, let me get a little bit of our white over here. You can paint with your liquid white, right? On canvas, there we go. Prepping the side of my canvas now for some paint, okay? Have you ever gone like this with your brush, trying to do this side and it snuck over into the front of the thing? Just get a little bit of our blue onto our hand, and mix it up until it blends in with that sky. Literally. All you gotta do, my friends, all you gotta do. On this side, we can literally do the same thing right down here. And I'll even show you if you want what it looks like. Now, because this side has the trees, I need a little bit of that darkness as well. Pop it up in here, smoosh it down. That's a perfect blend right there, literally. Unreal. So, you guys start coming up with a title for this one. Remember, if you like it enough, this is all I do. I rely on you guys purchasing the paintings and then helping me pay the bills. That's what we do around here. Teach you how to paint, live shows all the time, right? We can't continue to get supplies if we don't find homes for the paintings. Then we don't have any funds for supplies, and then we can't do free shows. So, help me out. Get over there, check it out. Mods will tell you how to get it. You guys should already know, it's my name, Paint with Josh, is all you have to write at the end. little bit over there. Over here, put our other bigger brush back. These Paint with Josh brushes are so nice that I don't do this with any other brush. I never wipe off the brush before I put it down on the table again, just to keep them nice and gold. This set, anyway. So let's finish cleaning these guys off. You guys come up with a title. Tell me what it's going to be. And if this one finds a new home, I'll come back and do another show later on. And if not, then that's okay as well. I'll just retire for the weekend. Off to my villa in, I don't know, Vale, I guess, or the Maldives. Yeah, my dreams. In my dreams, you guys. I'll be back at my 2-bedroom apartment. Just editing videos and doing more stuff. All for you to watch later. That's what we do. Alright, you know how much time it takes to edit all those videos? God, it's just an awful amount of time. Like, oh, you want to be like Paint with Josh? Are you sure? Because like, it takes a lot just to come up with the ideas, paint the paintings, go to Michael's, get the supply, do all that stuff, and then be your own, you know, actor, director, video editor, lighting specialist, social media manager. It's all on you. You know what I mean? Like, you want that? It doesn't sound fun. I'm telling you. It doesn't sound that fun. It's not that bad, but it doesn't sound that fun either. Now, we're going to wipe off all of our brushes. You guys are going to come up with the title of the painting, Out There in the Night. Or in this case, in the day. We'll go add our little 3 birds, throw our signature on there, and then we'll be all set-a-rooski. Yeah! So, let me know. What are we going to call this one? Type it out in the comments now. Boom, ba boom, ba boom. Let's see. Yes, John, thank you. I appreciate it. What do we want to call this one? It's still there. It's the first thing you're going to see when you go over to my place. Right? We all know that place. Rocky Mountain High, Mountain Misty, Mountain Peak, the Cold Calm. I like that. Dude. What's that say? My hiding place? Is that what that said? That's a cool one. I like how my hiding place is neat. The calm is nice. Polar picturesque. Like I would be able to spell that. The Yeti's Lair. Blue Snow Pass. Christmas in the Country. I like that one. Winter's Grace. Hidden Valley. Like Hidden Valley Ranch. Like that. Mount Twin Peaks. It's actually Tri-Peaks, isn't it? 2, 3. But anyway. Let's keep hitting me with the titles, you guys. I'm going to find my marker, my long-lost marker. The old drill out so we can take the painting down. I'll even show you that finger-painted area on the side, just to show you. Just to see what it's like. Now, do you understand the reasoning why we don't put any of this heavy snow back here behind our tree? Right? Because that would be fighting, trying to lay all this heavy snow on top of all that heavy snow, right? So, right, fade. Back here is why we had to remove it, scrape it away so it wasn't too overly gunky up there. Do you see? Do you remember? What are we going to title this one, guys? Remember, if you grab it during the live show, you get to title it forever. We're going to put the birds in. Don't worry. We'll put those birds in. Southern Smokies. Alaskan Stroll. I like that. Dreamy Winter. River Mountain Run. Silence in the Mountains. Mountain Peak, Dreamy Winter, Undisturbed Chills, Smoky Valley, Foggy Pines. I like that. The old Foggy Pines. Dream Mountain, Twilight, Winter Life, Misty Mystery. That's a tongue twister. Freezing Peace, Cold Warmth. I like that one too. I like it. Misty Fortress. Ooh. River Valley in the Pines. Snow Bisque, Lost Mountain. You guys are wicked cool. Winter Pass, Serenity's Pass. I like that. I like them all. Keep hitting me, guys. We haven't had one that struck me yet. We haven't been struck by one of those titles just yet. Secret Pass. I dig it. Foggy Forest. I'm feeling it. To the Nines. I like that one. I like that one. R2D2 theme. Let's see. Misty Mountain. Player. I feel you. Jason Voorhees. River Valley in the Pines. All right, guys. Let's see. Let's just see out there. You could do Ross's Peak. That's a suggestion over on the Tubi Tube. Cliffhanger. That's a cool one. Ooh, can we get Amara up there? Frozen Memories, you guys. I like that. I like that for a little title out there. In the day. Oh, by the way, that's the side that we finger painted, along with this side. That's a perfect finger painted version of a blend. Oop, I'm gonna put it this way here. This one is number 71, right? 2,071 paintings. Remember, when you're signing, if you're using a Sharpie, don't push too hard on the thing. It'll try to bleed through to the front of the canvas, depending on how much paint you have. Let's put very light. Ooh, just like that, right? Number, guys, Cosmic. 2071, thank you, Cosmic. Appreciate it. 2,071 paintings. That is amazing. Okay, what are we calling it again? What did she say? Amara, what was Amara's title again? Frozen Memories. I appreciate ya. Perfect, perfect. This one was painted on 9/22/2022. We're all gonna go to Paint with Josh, and then we put that little period out there. Whoop, like that. And then the little letters at the end, like always. You guys know how to work the internet, right? We shouldn't have to tell you. Also, we're gonna do that same technique up here. You can see how we've got our blue sky, untouched canvas because of this portion of my easel. So we can plop it down on the bucket, push it real hard. Trying to do it with your brush, you could sneak over the front and say you just did your best painting ever, right? You don't want to sneak over the front and ruin the front of the canvas. So, just like that, we're taking and push the paint from side to side, creating that little blue edge, just about as perfect as the front. So, let's throw the old birds on there real quick, the old JK, and then we'll get up on out of here, you guys. Yeah! Let's see. Grab this. Let's do the birds with our odorless mineral spirits or our brush cleaner. There we go. See it dripping off like that? That's our odorless mineral spirit cleaner. Okay, we're going to get that into or underneath our black pile like that, making the paint very wet. Okay, and that way, with the right wetness, it will come off of our brush and attach on to our canvas. Okay. Now, we put them on this side or that side? Let's put them over here. Just like this. Just go and throw those little guys out there in the night. I never like them to be all the same amount of flappy level, right? And our poor little one over here looks like it got a little bit too big, right? We were trying to get the last bit of paint to come off, push a little harder. So watch what happens if you just literally blend it away very softly. Right? Now try to make it grow. Gone. Instantly gone, right? We'll go back. We're going to make sure we have enough of our odorless mineral spirits onto the brush and the correct amount of paint onto the brush as well, so it runs like ink. We'll watch this little, just a little kind of a little thing out there, right? Much more sharp. Fabulous. Okay, now we're going to go down. I guess we'll go down here and we'll throw in the old JK right down there. I need, again, the right amount of paint on the brush. 3 P's of paint with Josh. Do you listen to your own self about the 3 P's? Apparently not. There we go. Gorgeous. Man, that one came out pretty cool, you guys. Pretty cool. So thank you guys for watching and titling this one. We do have other paintings just besides this. Over on the site, you can find them by going to the same place we've been telling you to go to this whole time, Paint with Josh. That's the only place you gotta go. It's the only place they are. If they're anywhere else, then you're not at the right place. Okay? There's lots of other, fake Paint with Josh pages and different things that try to take advantage of the large following that I have. So please make sure you're going to the correct one. Paint with Josh. It's exactly where you would go if you would figure, hey, that Paint with Josh guy must have his own, right? Yeah, I do. So where would you think to go? Paint with Josh. That's it. Type it in. We have to say it like that, otherwise the robots pick up and they start to do different things. So, this one came out awesomely. I want to thank all you guys over on the book and on the Tubi Tubes. Thank you for watching. I'll be back on Thursday at 5 p.m. Next week is going to be a short week, right? Because we've got just one day short, I guess. We have our Thursday, Friday, Saturday shows, and then I'll be teaching classes on Sunday. By the time the classes are finished and I drive back, it's not going to be... First, I'm not going to want to come live and do a show, and it's going to be too late for my normal show time anyway. So, we'll miss Sunday. We'll do the shows on Saturday night, and then hopefully we'll be back up here on Monday, and we'll be able to do everything just like we always do. So, until I see you guys again next time, make sure you send in your versions of this painting to me on the Book of Faces, and that's at official Paint with Josh over on the Bookie Book, at Paint with Josh on the Tube, and at Paint with Josh K on TikTok and on the Instagram. So, beyond that, I love you guys. I can't wait to see you again. And until I see you guys again next time, take care. And blah, blah, blah. Man alive. That was a cute little paint.